Level Board Gaming.
Hi guys, this is Nick again from Next Level Board Gaming, and we have another very cool project. It was all started after building the game Tortuga 1667, and we put it live on YouTube, and after a few days we were contacted by Travis from Facade Games, one of the creators of the games, and he really liked it, and he really liked what we were doing. So eventually we got in contact with each other, and we started chatting, and they were giving us some inside information about a new game that they were planning to release on Kickstarter quite soon at the time, and it's called Bristol 1350. And yeah, the question was if we could build a board around it and if we thought it would be funny. And as you can see, it worked. We did it, and it was a really awesome time building it. We had a very good contact with them. The company is very awesome, and we had a very good connection with each other. We loved it. So after the first contact, we brought the team together again, and we started already quite fast coming up with ideas. And as this is a very small game, it needed to make some sense for why would you build a 3D board for it. Well, first of all, you never need it, really. So that's so second of all, we were thinking it would be cool this time, because it's a small game, first of all, to keep it more or less small, so it's easy to pick up. And yeah, this one you can even hang up on the wall and use it as a decoration for your house. And eventually we thought it would be a very cool idea if everything that we were going to build was going to be 3D modeled and possible to print as much as possible, so you guys at home could make it as easy as possible, so it's more accessible. And the second thing that we came up with is something that is close to heart, and we really like it, and it's this cute tiny little meepawns, we call them. So they are the size of the pawns, of the regular pawns, so you can just use them in the normal game, but then they have like some real cute faces on them, and just it just gives more flavor to the game. And when they are just running around the city and racing around the city, it's cool. It's very nice. So yeah, we ended up getting Yuri again from Crupido, and he started modeling these meepawns. He also did a lot of modeling with the buildings, and quite fast we were up and running with getting it built up from the ground. As from now, this game is live on Kickstarter. It's not yet in stores yet, so if you have interest in it and if you think you like it, go to the Kickstarter, check it out. It's running amazingly. It deserves nothing less. It's a very good game. If you have played Tortuga or Deadwood from Facade Games, it is similar. It has a similar vibe to it, so it is good. It's a very fun game to play. So yeah, if you also like this project, you can check out our Facebook and go to our website. We have all the STL files available, the meepawns available, the scenery. So everything you need to make this build yourself, you can get it at the shop. And please like and subscribe. It will help us out a lot, and we love these projects. So yeah, we will do our best to keep them coming, and have good fun. See you later. Bye bye. Alright, so as you can see, we are first priming it, and I do prime it with an airbrush because I don't want to lose any details, because these details are super small. It is all in a scale of approximately 1 to 650, so you could use rattle cans, but yeah, they tend to obscure the details a little bit. And as you can see, we have a lot of details, even little stairways in the towers. And this is one of the first tiles that you're going to place on the board. And this is one of the coolest tiles. It's a bridge. And on the sides you will eventually put the little cities of the bridge. And now with contrast paint we will paint all the tiles and even also the buildings later on. I really do love the contrast for painting sceneries and stuff like this, because as long as it's wet you can go in with other colors, as you can see here now, and we just dip on some of the colors and then just brush them and blend them into each other. And stippling is a very good and useful technique doing this. So a little bit of the dark brown and some green in it. Just mix it up. The more colors the better. And right here we have the board, the main board. You can also 3D print it, but I do recommend a little bit of MDF board underneath it, just to give it a little bit more strength, because I didn't want to waste time on printing the infill quite large, so I have printed it in infill 15%. I would recommend you to at least do a 20%, because my infill print was just on the short side. But yeah, just prime it with a normal primer and you're good to go. The next step is quite useless, I would say, but yeah, when I'm doing a build, many times I also can't wait to see some of the end results, just to give me some end information. And so I coated it all with a sandy color, just to give it more the looks and the feels of the end result. And then eventually I decided to come back and do some hills and other stuff. So this step is not yet needed, but yeah, it helped me for inspirations. So we are going over to one of the coolest buildings that we have made for this board. One of them is, that you can see, is the entrance. Yuri has done a great job on it. And again, we are going to paint it with contrast, because contrast is just an awesome product to paint sceneries. You can blend a lot, everything looks way more natural when you finish it. And yeah, just check it out. So again, like with the tiles, we are going to go over it in the darker areas with a darker color where shadows will fall. And later on you can see that we also go on with a little bit of a green color, and most of them are going to be on the bottom of the buildings. So it is going to look a little bit like there is some moss and some undergrowth on it. So have fun with it. And as I told you, later on we will go over with some model compound from Lux APS. We do have the Lux APS range in store now, and this stuff is very magical. It's awesome. The best thing about it, what I like with this stuff, is that you can really build stuff with your hands. You can sculpt directly on your project. And well, 3D printing is very cool to do, and you do get super nice results. For me, there is still almost nothing better than just working with your hands and sculpt it while working on it. So this stuff is really awesome. So we make some small hills, just some small differentials in texture as in height. And eventually I also go into the river, because I didn't want the riverbed to be so flat. So with this stuff we can also give it some more texture for later on. And of course I did skip the step of painting it all with the brown texture again, because you have already seen me doing it before this. So after the brown ground texture is on it, the texture paint, I have made a little wash of a dark brown, and I'm washing everything so it gets some darker color but also some contrast. So just check it out. And at this point I have to excuse myself for not being able to show you guys how I did the flocking. But I did use the Lux APS green flock and the mid green flock. The reason why I don't have the video for you is that I have to say that I'm really sorry for the fact that I forgot to press the record button. So I was thinking it was all recording and it was all going to be good, but as you can see I have completely lost that part. But still, flocking is still flocking and it's not that difficult. So we are going just over to paint the river. And as we do with all kinds of river paintings, the center of the river you paint it darker so it looks deeper, and the edges are going to be lighter. And just to clean off the brush, I clean it off by going over the flocked areas, and then we leave the center of the flocked areas. So we get some more contrast in let's say height. So the mid plane is brighter and the outer edges are darker, because eventually there's going to be buildings there. And of course the buildings will create shadows, and you will eventually see some shadowy effect under the buildings. And where the buildings are not standing, there's more sunlight, so it's by nature going to be more light. And some more priming of these houses. As for the buildings, of course you can paint them however you like and however you see fit. We have used for all the wooden buildings, we used some kind of a light plaster looking color. So this one is Riot Bone. And then we dry brush all the wood. And of course we also have other kinds of colors. Some are a little bit darker, some are a little bit brighter. So make the buildings differentiate from each other as much as possible as you can. We are using some toothpicks, regular toothpicks. I'm painting them in some tree colors, because these are going to be functioning as the trunks of the trees. So here we have just some large foam flock, and we are going to cover it and spray it all wet with Geek Gaming Scenics matte sealant. So eventually all of these things will stick together. And we're going to take our little tree trunks and dip them in there with some glue. And you can create some nice little cute trees. And with the Geek Gaming Scenics range of the fast drying basing glue, we are going to glue down all the buildings to the board. And with some dark mud texture of Citadel, we are going to paint some real muddy areas where I just believe that people would have walked and carts with wagons will drive by. Just make it a little bit of a scene. And of course also some small footpaths. So it just gives it a little bit more of a dynamic, alive board. And to give it a nice touch, we have bought a regular wooden frame that I thought it was nice to have it there. And we are coating it with a wood coat. And eventually we are going to make it look older. It's just a personal preference. If you like it any other way, just of course it's your creation, it's your world, so you can build and make whatever you feel like. So here we are grinding off some edges and give it that weathered effect. Quick hint, after you have poured the resin, please do not forget to put in tile 3 with the bridge, before you cannot put them there anymore. And after that we are varnishing the wooden border, just to give it that finished look. And eventually I thought it was cool to put some very small pieces of red chips. I had some red chips laying around. They're very tiny, but as this game is using reds and apples, I thought it was cool to make some apple trees. After the resin has dried, I took some Geek Gaming Scenics dead tufts and chopped them up in very small strips and pasted it in the edge of the water, so it would look like a little bit of reed growing there. Just thought it was a nice little detail. And here I'm painting some really small cows. It's very hard to see, but they are really tiny. We try to put them into scale. These cows are not in the STL pack, these cows are just from Thingiverse. And when you are doing this build, go wild as you see fit. You can maybe print some chickens or porks or whatever cattle you would see fit in this game, but just a few cows. We thought it was really funny to do. And personally, if you ask me, this is where the real magic of the project came up. Yuri has designed all of these meeples, and we like to call them meepawns. They are in the size of the pawns of the game, so you can use them in a regular game, and you don't really need this board. You can just use them in the regular game. We do have them on the website, and they are super cute. Just look them up, and you will find some cool stuff in there. So as mentioned before, all of these files are available on our website, You can build this complete board yourself. Almost everything is 3D printable. It's very easy to build, it just takes some time. This game deserves it. It's an awesome game, as you can see right here. The end results are very cool. Big thumbs up for Facade Games again, because they have created another really fun game to play with your friends and family. Alright, see you later. Bye bye.